Welcome to Scheduling Client Appointments. In this section, you will learn how to add, copy, and delete appointments. Begin by clicking on the Appointments tab, and it's going to take you to today's appointments. So as you can see, there's nothing here for November 12th, so that means there are no appointments scheduled for today. The only thing showing here is copy office or employee by date range. And this is only going to actually show for administrators and office managers. They are the only ones that can use the copy feature. And that's what this feature does, is it allows you to copy the appointment scheduler for an entire office or for a selected employee. So if you have the same clients that come back year after year and you want to copy maybe an entire year's scheduler, you can do that from this spot. So it works actually just like the availability and work schedule copy feature. So what I would do is actually refer you back to the availability schedule video, and that's where we did a thorough discussion on how to use the copy feature. But one thing I just want to point out before we move on is just to let you know that if you do use this copy feature, there's not really any checks and balances on the appointment schedule. So if you copy an entire office's appointments, it's not going to cross-check to see actually if all of those employees are on the work schedule for those days. So it's just going to copy the appointments, and it's going to assume that those employees are going to be working. So what you need to do is make sure that you have employees scheduled to cover those appointments. So with that being said, I will now show you how to add a client appointment for a returning client. So you can begin by searching for a client. So typically a client's going to call in and they're just going to say that they want to schedule an appointment. So let's say that James Davis calls in. So we could go ahead, we'll search for his name. We have two James Davises that come up. So if I was on the phone, I would verify who he is by maybe confirming the last four of the Social Security numbers. Then I would go, you can see here we've got a bunch of information under the search results. You can see what office this client goes to, what business type, the last year that they were here, if there was a balance that they owed us money, what type of return it is, who the user was, how many years they've been here, and any types of fees, payments, and discounts. If I wanted to see all the years instead of just the most recent year, I could check the box that says Show All Years, and then we can search. And then you can see it does have the two different James Davis, but they're split up by Social Security numbers. So this is going to be his history, this is going to be this James Davis history. So you can get a little bit more information by checking that box. So if we want to go ahead and schedule an appointment for this James Davis, we can go under Schedule and click on the site. And then as what it does is it automatically takes us to today's schedule for this site. So today is the 12th. There are no scheduled appointments. The site is West Saginaw. If the client was choosing to go to another site, if you have more than one site, you could change and look at the schedule for another site. This shows the office hours for those particular, whatever day we are on. It shows our office hours. And then it brings over information from the client's file. So it brings over previous information as far as the difficulty and the time. Then we can ask the client what time they would like to come in. Then we would select a user. So these are all of our users who are available. Now you can see here Diana and Mark are both available from 9 to 5, and Mandy and Andy both do not have a scheduled time, but they are available to take appointments. So we just basically, theirs was checked where we could disregard the work schedule. So we could still schedule appointments with those preparers even though they aren't really on the work schedule. So let's select Andy. Has the client's name. This is a prior year client, so the referral type comes over as prior year. Has their phone number. The business type is tax prep. If he was coming in for payroll or health insurance, you could change your business type. And then an email address. The email address is nice to have in there because Adam does send out email reminders if you've set that up under the email templates under the admin tab. And last four of the SOCH, that's more important for new clients instead of returning clients because we already have this client's social security number. And then notes, if we wanted to put any notes related to this appointment, maybe this client called in and said he was doing an amendment. Then this right here shows the city and the zip code. Now the reason that this might be important, let's say maybe your business is growing and you've added another office this year. So maybe you've opened up an office that's closer to this client's house. Then you can let that client know, hey, we've opened up this new office. It's just a couple minutes from your house. Would you like to schedule at that new office? So that's the reason we transfer the cities and zip code over to the appointment calendar. All right, so then if we go ahead and save that appointment, you can see now here that James Davis has an appointment at 12 o'clock on Tuesday the 12th at the West Saginaw office. Now let's say when he called in to schedule his appointment, he actually requested a preparer. So if we choose this requested box, so we'll say this client requested a preparer, so we'll go ahead and save that. So you can see on here now that it has the R, so it shows that it's a requested appointment. And then also if you go back to your home page, you can see on the user overview that I have one scheduled appointment. And if I click on this, we'll change this to today. You can see that I have one appointment for today. The reason that it's in pink is because it's past the time. This appointment was scheduled for 12 o'clock today. It's now 2:16, so it's basically just showing that this client is late for the appointment. The other information that we can get from this page, if you wanted to see the appointments for all the users, you could check that box. And then you can also choose if you would like to display just today's, the next week, the next month, or all of your appointments. So here's an example of what the next 7 days would look like for all of our preparers. So these would be our appointments. This is who they're scheduled for. These are the business types. So this is the information we have on those appointments. Part of the reason that it's nice to see if you have appointments that are late or maybe didn't show up, the reason we make that stand out is maybe you want to contact those clients. They forgot to show up to the appointment. You could select them, select compose message. You can send them an email message. You could get into their file, get their phone number. You could give them a call and say, hey, sorry you missed your appointment. Can we go ahead and reschedule that for you? So this is one way to view your appointments. If we go back to the appointment calendar, you can see here this shows all of our appointments, or you can choose just the requested appointments or just the non-requested appointments. Then this feature down here where it says scheduler, if we click on this, this is going to bring up another version of our schedule. So you can see here, this is going to be more Outlook based. So some of you guys may be more used to looking at the Outlook calendar, so this is similar to that. You can group your appointments by user. You can look at all users, or you could select specific users. You could look at one site or all your sites. You could look at all your appointments, requested appointments, or non-requested appointments. You could also choose to look at the day, the week, or the month. So if we select week, we have this for all of our users. You can see all of the appointments that we do have on here. Now let's say you wanted to change this client's appointment. Let's say James called, said he was running late, wasn't going to be in here at noon, but could he come in at 1:30? We can look here and we can say, yep, 1:30 is open, so we could go ahead and drag it down. So his appointment has now changed to 1:30. Okay, so it's just another view of the calendar. Kind of gives that good overview. You can see what appointments you have scheduled and what times you might have open. So if somebody calls and wants to schedule an appointment with a specific preparer, let's say they wanted to schedule with Mark and you wanted to look at Mark's schedule for the next month, you could say, oh, yep, Tuesday the 5th looks good because he doesn't have anything on that day. So you have the full schedule right there in front of you. There's a couple different ways to access that scheduler. So this way was here under the Appointments tab. It says Scheduler here, and that pulled it up. Or if you go back to the home page, and you can see here, this shows your office's appointments or your personal appointments, depending on how you have it set up. And again, here you have View Scheduler, so you can click this, and that's also going to open up that scheduler view for you. Okay, then the other way to schedule an appointment for an existing file is going to be right out of the client's file. So let's go ahead and search for a client. So maybe you're on the phone with this client, or they're sitting in your office and you're already in their file and they say, hey, I do need to schedule an appointment. So you're in this client's file. We're in Michelle Bishop's file. We're under the contact information. Then we have this button here that says Schedule Appointment. So if we click on Schedule Appointment, it will again take us back to that appointment scheduler. It's going to default to today. If we want to schedule an appointment for another day out in the future, we would just click on that day and it will show us the schedule for that day. So if we go back to here, again, we can go ahead, we can pick our time for the appointment, we can pick our user. So we've got a 3 o'clock appointment. Say this one's with Diana. This one we can do as a payroll appointment, or if we needed to change that business type, we could change that business type. Again, if we have an email address in the client's file and we have our appointment reminder set up, then that client will get that email message or text message sent to them reminding them of their appointment. So if you go ahead and save. Now the reason that this one is yellow is you can see up here that we have a key for color coding. So our yellow ones are payroll, our purple ones are health insurance. Now you can go ahead and you can set this up under business types in the admin section if you wanted to color code your different business types for the appointment scheduler. So those are the two different ways to schedule appointments for an existing client. So now I will show you how to schedule an appointment for a new client. Now you can see here when you do click on the Appointments tab, that's where you kind of think you might need to go to schedule an appointment. There's no way to actually search for or get an a client's information from here. So you would begin by searching for a client. So you always want to search on, even if they say that they're a new client, you always want to do that search first because maybe they've been to your office several years ago and they've maybe now skipped a few years. Then you can kind of touch base with them and see maybe if they've gone somewhere else or if they have those previous year's returns to file, or maybe they owe you money from a previous year and thought that maybe you forgot about it. So if we go ahead and search first for a new client, so we'll do Mary Test here, and we do search. So there are no records found, so our choices are we can add a new contact or we can schedule a new contact. So we want to go ahead and schedule. And again, it's going to default us to the site that we are in and today's date. So we'll go ahead and schedule the appointment. For difficulty, it's probably good to have whoever's scheduling appointments to be able to ask a few general questions to try to figure out if it's an easier appointment or if it's going to be a harder, more difficult, and longer appointment. So you're scheduling it for the right amount of time. So we'll say this is a more difficult appointment, so it's a 4-star, so that would be a 90-minute appointment. We'll pick our time for that appointment. We'll select a user. Then you can ask for a referral type, because if it's a new client, you want to do that referral tracking. Your referral types are in here, and they can say maybe they heard about you on Fox 47. So you would select that referral type. We get the client's phone number, so then if you maybe had to reschedule that appointment or had questions, you could put that in there. Same thing for the email. If you put an email in here, again, we can still send out those appointment reminders. The last 4 digits of the Social Security number. This is important for new clients because then when they walk into your office and they check in for the appointment, it's going to link it. So you'll know that that appointment has actually checked in to your lobby. And then again, if you had any notes you wanted to put in there, you could put notes and then go ahead and save it. So now you can see on the scheduler, you can see the differences between a returning client and a new client, because the new client's name is italicized like this. So just by glancing at your appointment calendar, you can tell which clients are returning and which clients are new clients. All right, the next thing, we can show you how to move an appointment. So let's say Michelle Bishop called, said she wasn't going to be able to be in at 3 o'clock, but she wanted to come in at 4 o'clock. So you would just click on her name. It's going to open up her appointment, and you can change the time. Select 4 o'clock, save it, and it's now changed her appointment to 4 o'clock. So that's how you would go ahead, and one of the ways to go ahead and change the appointment. Another thing that may happen with a client is maybe they want to schedule more than one appointment. So let's say Michelle Bishop came in today, but she knows that she wants to come in on Friday too. She's going to have to come in and finish her return on Friday. So down here under copy of appointment, we can choose the date to copy the appointment to. If you click in the box, it'll pull up your calendar. We can select on Friday the 15th, and then we can copy that appointment. Now it takes me right into Friday the 15th. You can see I have Michelle Bishop. It just copied the appointment to the same time. Again, if we needed to adjust that time, you would click on the name and you can change the time. But now Michelle Bishop has an appointment on Friday, and she also has an appointment on Tuesday. So that's how you can go ahead and you can schedule an appointment, more than one appointment for the same client. The other thing that you're going to want to know how to do is to delete an appointment. So if a client called and needed to delete their appointment, you can go ahead and click on the client's name, and then you can just come down here to where it says delete, choose the delete. It asks you if you're sure you want to delete that appointment. And say OK, and it has now deleted the client's appointment from the scheduler. So those are the ways to add, copy, and delete appointments. Thank you.